I think the thing that I've decided basically is like, insofar as we're going to have steps, we're going to follow the steps. And if we don't, we're going to apologize for not following the steps, right? So the direct level of it's called like coordinated disclosures. If we're going to coordinate, okay? Because some companies like to put up a bug bounty program and they think that it's like, then gives them a right to just say nothing for the next 60 days. I mean, come on, that's not, then you might as well just be saying nothing on Twitter, right?
Yeah, exactly. And in the interest of that transparency and or lack of transparency, actually, because, you know, there was a lot of missing gaps in there in the process. There's something I want to focus on that I read another article that you wrote, which is not related to AI or anything, but close. It was about blockchain. And there was a snippet of it that I really enjoyed, that part that I wanted you to, I know you're smiling because you're like, wait, that's from 2017.
Yeah.
You said a problem no one has. Blockchain attempts to solve a problem that you didn't know you had, the problem of a trusted intermediary. As a programmer, I've never gone on Stack Overflow and asked, I need to design a system that works like a database, but guarantees no one can control it, including myself. I've never seen that question asked either. And as an individual consumer, I've never thought what I don't like about this product or service is that it's trusted intermediary. Do you think AI has changed that perspective?
That is a fascinating question. I don't think blockchain is the solution to it, but I definitely wouldn't have framed it that way if I now.
It's like, I loved it. Yeah, I totally enjoyed reading that article, and that was the part that stood out. I was like, oh, I
knowing that I
want to look at this. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I was like a couple years out of law school at that point, and I'm just like, I don't think blockchain solves it, but I will say I definitely have asked the question.
That's
about
interesting. I would love to see an update to that once you continue your research. Yeah, cool. Insider threat, which is something, like you mentioned, you're talking about a upcoming product and so forth. There was another article that I read that you put up a blog post about. I believe, if I got the name right, what is the case of Soham,
yes.
Right? Yeah, that was a good one too. And I was just curious, what would you say is the, because I wasn't sure if, I think there was a big fuss about that, him being able to work multiple whatever and so forth. And there was a part of it that you mentioned that for you didn't really think he was the vulnerability or something like that along those lines. And I was just trying to see if I could get your perspective.
I think it's that, so my take on this from what I was writing about, it's about this case of this one developer who basically got hired by multiple Y Combinator companies at the same time. And they all come out and say things like, well, he's a really great developer. And I'm like, yeah, well, you would say that because you hired him. And now you look a bit embarrassing because you hired a guy who, worked at 8 different places. But, it's the thing that goes all the way back to what you said at the start of this, this podcast was you said cybersecurity touches everything.
Yes.
And, it touches your hiring. Okay. Yeah. If you're hiring people who you don't know who they are, you've never met them, you don't have any good processes, you're shipping them a laptop to an address you don't know, that's not just that you're bad at hiring, that is you're bad at cybersecurity.
Yes.
And so it's like you're only your security team could do the best job in the world. If you hire a random person who you can't verify their identity or anything about them and you send off to them, you just gave them the
You're right. Absolutely. That's interesting. Wow, that's a nice way to put it. You're just bad at cybersecurity, not hiring. All of that can be another issue. That's awesome. I do want to kind of move into the last piece or segment where I call the rapid fire questions, and I pretty much throw a couple of questions at you and then see what your one word take on those things are. You want to play the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's talk about discovery. And this is in context to the Copilot vulnerability you found. What is one word you felt when you realized Copilot was bypassing logs?
Stunned.
And we can talk about any of those answers if you want to elaborate. Let's talk about the disclosure process. In one phrase, how would you sum up the MSRC process?
Appalled.
I was
It was-
waiting for that one.
There are so many levels to that one that as I read more, I get more shocked. Everyone has a horror story coming out. I told them on the call, I said, a lot of people told me don't report to you guys because it's not going to go well. They go, oh, tell them it will go well now. And I was like, what do you mean?
Like after it just went horrible?
Like, well,
Am I missing something? Wow. Let's
Microsoft paid out $17 million like the last 2 years in bug bounties for the last 2 years. I thought that number would be like 170 million. I thought they would be paying way larger sums just because of it's Microsoft. They're basically the whole world. Like 17 million. I think we have customers paying. I bet if I summed all of the Copilot licenses of our customers, they'd be paying $17 million.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's expensive.
That's crazy. Let's talk about trust. If you had to choose, would you pick complete audit logs or faster fixes?
Oh, complete audit logs.
Complete audit.
Yeah. It's sometimes the fixes I go, no one's doing that, right? And maybe I'll probably regret that statement like years from now.
We'll come back to it. Just like the blockchain, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll need to do another session a couple years.
Exactly. AI security, which is bigger, risk, silent failures, or data leaks?
Data leaks.
Nice. And then researcher life, which you are now part of. More frustrating blogs that vanish or vendors that ignore you?
Vendors that ignore you.
Yeah, I figured you'd lean to that one.
Yeah, and you know that they're evil, not just that like there's something crazy going.
Yeah. This is super interesting. Zach, I can't say thank you enough, and this is exciting. Like, there's obviously, like you said, there was no way, some of the backstories you mentioned, we could talk about this on the blog. Like, you would write a whole really long blog. So I appreciate you coming to kind of give the backstory to this. This was super enjoyable. I just want to, before I kind of close out, see if you had any last words for enterprises, about AI and AI security, researchers and, so forth. I would love to hear your last words on this.
I mean, just don't use Copilot. or call your Microsoft. If you have a contact at Microsoft, call them and tell them this is embarrassing. Please stop. Eventually they'll change, right? And don't use Copilot in the meantime.
Makes sense. All right, cool. It was super enjoyable. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for such a wonderful discussion and story. As you know, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We tell a lot more of these stories, and I always say this, and I'm pretty sure Zach will be back here with a different story for us to kind of chat about. So, but remember, AI security is real. Logs mean a lot and pretty much mean everything, especially in the event of a breach, incident, and so forth. So, Zach, thank you. And once again, I appreciate you coming on the show. This was super enjoyable.